What's up, everyone? Welcome back. As you can see, it's cold out. It is the end of November. Racing season is long over. Outdoor season is long over. Indoor season is just starting up, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Indoor season, indoor racing. Is it worth it? Should you do it? These are just my personal opinions and my thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the comments. We can talk back and forth. And yeah, let's get into it. Indoor racing, my thoughts, what you should do, what I think you should do, what I think I should do. Let's get into it. All right, so as far as indoor racing goes, my personal opinion is to do it. Gramps' personal opinion is to not do it. Now, we obviously both of us make good points. His points are good, my points are good. On the you shouldn't go and do it side, he always comes off of the it's expensive, and that's very true. It is very expensive. I mean, I'm in central Ohio, north central Ohio. So really the closest indoor track we have is Liberty, Kentucky. So, that's like a 4-hour drive. And then I know there's another one in Kentucky, Wagoners maybe. I can't think of the name. I'm not even sure where that is. So for us northern folk, it's a hell of a drive. And, that adds up. That's gas cost, wear and tear on your truck and trailer and whatnot. So that's just one of the expenses. And then Liberty usually does 2-day shows, Friday and Saturday. So you got hotel cost in there too. There is one hotel in Liberty. It books up real fast. Then you're basically staying in Danville, which is about a half-hour away, and they're a little more pricey there, so just another added cost. And then you have your tires on top of that. Indoor racing is hard on tires. I had 5 new sets last year, and we ran through all 5 of them, and those last couple of races were a real struggle. So that's another expense on top of that is your tire bill. Just thinking about it, I think we probably could have used 10 sets last year for indoor season, so 5 didn't cut it. And the guys that are running up front, they're putting new tires on all the time, and they are prepping the crap out of them, which is another expense, the tire prep. Those guys are prepping the hell out of them. They're doing 6 coats of prep. They're prepping again on the grid. They're using the torch. So you're just beating your stuff up, and you're going through a lot of prep. I never prepped that hard. I had people telling me to prep that hard, but as a poor fellow myself, I can't really afford to do that. So, while they were doing 6 coats, I was maybe doing 2 or 3 or 4 at the max. So just another cost there is your prep. And then on top of that, it is hard on equipment. We ran every race at Liberty last year, and I went through 2 bodies. The year before that, I flipped it, and I went through, the spindles, the heim joints. I've been to tie rod. So it's hard on equipment. Andy Keller, the guy that built my engines and stuff for indoors last year, he lent a cart out to a guy one night, and he said he was just going ahead and buying spindles for it because he assumed he was going to have to replace both spindles and the body. So that's kind of the nature of the beast of the indoor racing. The tracks are small, they're tight, you're in a confined space, and they're very fast, so it's hard on equipment. So, maybe bank on replacing some spindles in the body at least. So, it can be expensive. On top of that, your hotel cost and your tire bill and your gas. You also have your pit spot, especially if you're pitting indoors. Your pit pass, your entry fees, it all adds up. It can be expensive. So that's obviously Gramps' big reason on why we shouldn't do it. And it's a good reason. Not everyone's made of money. We're not made of money, that's for sure. The whole reason we were able to run the past couple seasons indoors is because I had a sponsor. I had DBR on the side, and he was basically paying for all of it, but even he had his budget. That's why we only had the 5 sets of tires, because you just can't spend unlimited money like that if you don't have it. So you can argue that outdoor racing is expensive too, and that is very true. But indoor racing is a little harder on equipment, a little more added cost just since there's not as many tracks around, and they usually run 2-day shows. So now my opinion is you should do it, but you got to be smart about it. So obviously it's all expensive, but do what you can afford. If you're a big time guy and you're running this stuff all the time and you've got the money to do it, then go out there and do it. Buy your unlimited tires, have your body for every race or whatever the hell you want to do. Run every class you can and do it. But if you're someone like me, you got to be smart about it. Realize that maybe, the new body every race isn't necessarily needed, but the tires are. But also realize how many tires you can buy and how hard you can prep them. We had our 5 sets, and we couldn't prep them as hard as everyone else because we had to try and make those last all winter. So you got to be smart about it, and you got to, spend what you can. If you're able to run all winter, then do it. But if you can only run the one race, then only run one race or 2 races or whatever. So that's my thing. And I say to go do it, and obviously do it within your means. If you can only afford to run one day instead of both days, and only run one day. But my thing is, like, the seasonal depression is real. It hits me very, very, very hard. So for me, it's something to do. It's something to look forward to. You know, I love racing, whether I'm getting my ass kicked or I'm running up front at Cridersville. It doesn't matter. I love racing. You know, we went to Clay City and got my ass kicked, but I had a good time. So for me, I just want to be there, and I just want to do it. So, you know, if you're like me and the seasonal depression hits kind of hard and you get really bored, it's something to do. It's something to look forward to. You know, you can go out and you can work on your kart, work on your tires, get things ready, you know, make the trip down there. It's a whole adventure. That's kind of how I look at it. And, you know, winter is long and cold and boring and dark, and it kind of breaks up the monotony of, you know, you wake up in the dark, you go home in the dark. You know, it's cold, so you're sitting inside all day. This gets you out. It gets you doing something. It gets you doing something you love to do. So whether you can run one race or 4 races, I recommend doing it as best as you can, as much as you can, just because of the way the winter is. I hate winter. I hate the cold. I hate the dark, you know. So if I'm able to go to one race, I'm going to go to that one race and give it my all and have the best time ever, because I have to, you know. Like I said, I get pretty down in the dumps in the winter, so this gives me something to do. I get to come out here and tinker and whatever, and it kind of keeps me energized and not as sad. So if you're like me and that happens, I very much recommend do it. Now, if you don't hate the winter and you're not getting all sad and depressed and you can't afford to do it, or you just don't feel like it, then obviously don't do it. Everyone's situation is different. But I kind of recommend going and trying it at least once if you can, you know, especially if you're like me. Now, I think if you are going to do this, you got to set realistic expectations. If you're a big guy and you've got the big trailer full of tires and, you know, unlimited this and unlimited that, go down there, expect to qualify on the pole, expect to win. You know, if you're disappointed with mid-pack of the A or front of the B main, that is awesome, because you put in the time and the money and the effort to be up front, so you can be disappointed. But if you're someone like me, if you're a smaller guy, you don't have the unlimited budget, you don't have the unlimited tires or even the knowledge or whatever, set realistic expectations. You know, if I can run back of the A main, I am pumped. If I'm up front of the B, that's good too, you know. One of my best times last year, I finished second in like the C main, but I finished second and I got a payout for that. I think it was like $55. It basically paid for my entry fees for that day. So that was, you know, that was a big deal to me, because I actually won some money back and was able to pay for the entry fees for the day. Now, you know, second in a C main doesn't sound that great, but you got to have your realistic expectations. I think that's why, despite what happened, I was having a good time every week, because I know what I'm up against. You know, I was running like a 2007 Phenom. I only had 5 sets of tires. And even if I had unlimited tires, I don't have the knowledge these guys have. So if you're a smaller local guy, set realistic expectations. If you're a bigger guy, you go out there and be pissed off that you run 5th. And that's kind of a problem I have with some people. So this winter, just going out looking on Facebook and stuff, a lot of Cridersville people are going down to Liberty this year. Now, I think it's absolutely awesome that a lot of these people are wanting to go to Liberty, because it's a good experience. You know, you learn a lot down there. It's a different type of racing. You know, we're running 9-second lap times. The dirt's different, the track is different, the grip is high. So it's a good experience overall for people like us from Cridersville that maybe only run Cridersville and Cridersville only. But that's the thing, is we run Cridersville and Cridersville only. So we have people that run there that win all the time and dominate, but they only go there and they don't go anywhere else. And they ended up getting, you know, these big egos and these big heads on them because they're winning all the time at Cridersville. And they run around and talk about how they're going to go to this race and that race and here and there and win all the money and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not necessarily true, because Cridersville is not Liberty. It's not Kentucky. It's not Tennessee. Hell, it's not even Ohio sometimes. I mean, not to dog on anyone, but the competition level outside of Cridersville is honestly higher. Like, I can go to Cridersville and I can run first, second, third every week, you know, fourth, whatever. But I go anywhere else and I'm 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, you know. You get out of that area, the competition is just better. So while I think it's awesome that I'm scrolling on Facebook and seeing all these people from Cridersville going down to Liberty because it's just a good experience, I think that they're going to be disappointed and upset because I think their expectations are too high. You know, one guy literally posted, "Hey, can anyone hold my kart down there so I can go down and win the money?" Like, I understand that you're fast and good at Cridersville, but you're not going to be, you know, you might not be fast and good down there. It's not a guarantee that you're going to win that money, because we're getting people at Liberty from, you know, obviously Kentucky, Tennessee, just Illinois, all over. Anyone that's good is going to be there. So Well, I love that some of these smaller local guys like myself are going down there. You got to have realistic expectations, you know. I never really get super disappointed or bummed, maybe a little upset, but like I set the realistic expectations. I know if I qualify for the A, I'm going to be 16th. I know if I qualify for the B, I'm going to be 3rd or 4th or whatever, you know. I know going down that I'm not running top 5. I'm not running top 3. I'm definitely not winning. I may not even run top 10, and I think some people need to maybe get their egos in check a little bit. Realize that just because you can dominate at your local track, not even going to say Cridersville General, just your local track, doesn't mean that you're going to go down there and dominate. You know, you're not getting just your normal guys you run with every week. You're getting really fast guys, people with a lot of money, people with a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience at other tracks. And sometimes that's what us local people, you know, we lack. We lack the knowledge, we lack the experience at other tracks. So that's where we always get beat. So, you know, go down there, race against those guys, have fun, do a good job at set realistic expectations, and realize that maybe you're not the world's best karter. You know what I mean? Like, just because you're fast and you can dominate at your local track doesn't mean that you're going to be fast and dominate down there. So, you know, that's what I always try and do, is to set the realistic expectations. So, you know, I scroll through Facebook and see some of these smaller local guys making comments about how they're going to go down there and win the money, and that's just not true. And unfortunately that happens. They go down there and they get their butts kicked, and then they get mad and they get disappointed and they throw a fit and they never come back. And I don't think that's good either, because come back, you know, if you got the means to do it, come back again, you know, get better, see why you got your butt kicked, improve, make changes, get better, and maybe eventually you won't get your butt kicked, you know. Like, we don't go down there and we get our asses kicked, but I learned a lot last year racing down there, you know, just a ton. And I think what we learned from indoors helped us on outdoors. So it's a whole learning experience. So I think that you should do it, but, you know, get yourself in check a little bit, have realistic goals, and then try and just learn as much as you can. If you're getting your butt kicked, try and figure out why, you know what I mean? So to wrap all this up, you know, to make a long story short, I think personally, my opinion is, if you can go run indoors, go do it. Whether it's one day and one race and one class, or it's every race, both times, you know, both days, multiple classes, however you can do it, go and do it. It's a good experience. It's very different from outdoors. It's very different from anything else. You know, it's going to be different from your local track. So it's a good way to learn and improve and get better. You know, and if you're one of these big guys, maybe you can go down there and win some money, because they always pay really well, you know, $500, $1,000, $2,000. So go down there and do it. And if, you know, if you're one of those big guys, go down there and win the money. If you're someone like me, a local guy, go down there and learn and ask questions and soak up as much knowledge as you can, because it's going to help you all around. You know, whether it'll help you that day or the next week or even in the summer, go down there, learn, do the best you can, because it's going to help overall. So I think the moral of the story is obviously go down there and do it within your means, however many races you can run, however many tires you have, whatever it is. But make sure you're willing to realize that if you're a local guy or a smaller guy, maybe you're not that fast because you win at your local track. And if that's the case, don't get upset, don't get your feelings hurt, don't throw a fit and say you never come back. Take that as a learning opportunity and just come back and do better next time. So, you know, long story short, wrap it all up. If you have the means to even run one race, go down there, run that one race, do the best you can, have fun, set realistic goals, and just learn as much as possible. So that's my take on indoor racing. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little different. It's just me yapping at a camera the whole time, but I wanted to make it. You know, it's been a while, and just wanted to, I guess, keep making videos and staying relevant, I guess. I don't know. So, you know, leave a comment down there. What are your thoughts, your opinions on indoor racing? Am I right? Do you agree with me? Am I wrong? Do you disagree with me? Am I completely out of touch and out of line and off base here? Let me know what you think in the comments, and I hope I can see you at a race somewhere this winter or over the summer next season.